I'm Brianna, welcome to my channel. So today is going to be my 1 week update with my 2020 MacBook Pro. Before we get into the video, let me just say that make sure that you are subscribed down below for new uploads every Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday. And if you're new to my channel, here's a quick rundown on my MacBook saga. So I owned a 2015 MacBook Air for 5 years. In 2020, I decided to upgrade to the 2020 MacBook Air 13-inch. Long story short, it just did not work out. Yes, I know those are not made for editing, but with all the new technology and upgrades and the fact that I had been editing on an Air for 5 years, I thought it would be fine and save me some money. It ended up losing me a bit of money because I had to sell that and buy the 2020 MacBook Pro. So this is my 1 week update, and let me just share all the things that I like about it and kind of compare what my experience is like on the Pro compared to the Air. So here's my computer. It's the 13-inch space gray, and the specs I got are the 10th gen i5 processor, 16 gigabytes of RAM, and 512 gigabytes of memory. So this is what the laptop looks like. So I made a list of all the things I want to talk about and just kind of share what it's been like working on this compared to the 2020 Air and even my 2015 Air. So, quick disclaimer, I am not a tech channel. I am not a tech expert. All of these videos on my channel are just my experiences using the technology. I'm not a MacBook expert or an Apple guru. If you want to see videos that go more into the numbers and get more technologically sophisticated, check out people like Marques Brownlee, Justine, Carl Conrad. I'll link some down below. Crystal Laurel is another one I love, but these are my videos based on my experiences, so please do not come for me in the comments. Be nice to everybody in the comments. Thank you. Okay, so the first big thing is editing. The main reason why the Air did not work out for me is obviously I have a YouTube channel, and most days I'm editing, filming, doing all that stuff. So let me just say that from 1 week, my editing process has been so much better on the Pro than the Air, as you would expect. On my Air, I only had 8 gigabytes of RAM, and also the processor was just not as fast. The cooling was also not as good as this. So it used to take me forever to edit videos because of how slow it was going. I actually did change some of my settings in Final Cut Pro to make it better. I'll link a video down below that one of my subscribers commented. And so in Final Cut Pro, I do proxy media and also optimize my media for better performance. Editing is so much easier. I've done probably 2 or 3 videos this past week, and it just goes so smoothly. So if you are looking to start a channel, or if you have a channel, the MacBook Pro is definitely the better option for editing. The next main thing that is different about this Pro is the touch bar and the fingerprint ID. My 2020 Air did have the fingerprint ID, but not the touch bar. Honestly, when I got this MacBook, I did not even think that I would use the touch bar, but let me just tell you, this thing is a lifesaver. It does a lot more than what I thought it did. So normally on the MacBook, the front row of keys is like your volume, your brightness, the backlight on your keyboards, and those kind of like technical things. All of those are still on the touch bar, but it does so much more. Whenever you're typing, it has suggestions for words. I can easily access all of my emojis, which is super useful when I'm replying to comments. It does a whole lot of things. Oh my gosh, whenever I'm editing videos, I'll show you guys all this stuff, but whenever I'm editing a video, that touch bar has that exact same timeline from Final Cut Pro. I can see all of my clips, my blades, my audios. It's crazy how much this touch bar does. It's actually super useful, and I use it every single day, especially when I'm editing videos. So next, I really love having 4 Thunderbolt ports. So I have 2 on the left side, and then on the right side there's 2 more ports, and also a headphone jack. Being able to charge from the left or the right side is so convenient. The way my bed is set up, I used to have to like wrap the cord around to charge it, but now I can just plug it in the right side. It's super easy. If I ever need to add in some more adapters or anything else, I have the option to do so. My 2020 MacBook Air only had 2 ports, which is kind of crazy for how expensive that laptop is, but definitely having 4 ports is such a lifesaver. So a lot of you guys have had questions about the battery life. I haven't done like a full-on battery test, but I just completely do notice that the battery dies a lot faster. However, the reason for that is, one, I always have my brightness turned all the way up. Most of the time that I'm on this laptop, I'm editing videos or doing photos or something involving like lots of processing and software and stuff like that. I also always have on my backlit keyboard, so those are obviously things that are going to drain your battery life quicker. However, the charger charges super fast, and so usually I'll just charge while I'm working, or maybe if I go eat lunch or something, put it on the charger, and by the time I come back I have pretty much full battery. So yes, the battery life is a little bit worse than the MacBook Air, I would say, just from my personal use, but overall the charger and the USB-C charger is so fast that it kind of makes up for the battery life draining so quickly. Webcam quality, just short and simple, it's not the best. It's not terrible, but it's not like super good quality. If you do a lot of things like Zoom or Skype, that may be something to consider. So these new MacBooks, the Pro and the Air included, both have the new Magic Keyboard. Honestly, it feels so smooth and great to type on. I personally love it. I never had the old MacBooks that had all the issues with the butterfly keyboards, so I don't really have much to compare it to, but overall I really do love the whole typing experience. So I always get questions about my laptop case, and just from my personal experience and preference, I'm actually not going to do a case on it. My 2015 MacBook Air, I had those hard snap-on cases on for years, and once I was getting ready to sell it, I actually noticed that some of these corners had warped. Overall, I just don't feel the need to have a case because it might prevent your airflow and also might damage some of the MacBook, and of course I want to keep it as new as possible for as long as possible. So instead I have this sleeve, and I made a video of my iPad Pro accessories. This is in there. This is actually a case for the iPad 12.9 inch, but it fits this perfectly, and so I usually just use a sleeve if I ever need to take it anywhere, but this is what my laptop looks like at home. I'm super careful about it not to do anything, so I have no case, no screen protector, no keyboard cover, any of that, and it's just pretty much gonna stay like this. I might get a skin, but for now I'm okay with it looking like this. So if you're new to Mac, you may have questions about things like having an antivirus software. I have owned a MacBook for 5 years. I've never had any type of antivirus software and have never had any issues like that. However, when I bought this MacBook from Best Buy, it came with a free 6-month trial from an antivirus, so I thought might as well download it, and that's what I've been using now. The name of that antivirus is Trend Micro Autovirus, so you really don't experience a lot of issues like that with Macs, which is really good. When I used to have like a Dell and Windows laptop, that was so bad having to deal with viruses and all that stuff, but Macs are pretty good when it comes to stuff like that. So the speakers sound really good. They get pretty loud. That's pretty much all I have to say about that. The speakers do sound really good. Next, somebody asked me about the difference in shape between the MacBook Air that has that wedge shape versus the Pro. Honestly, I have not noticed much of a difference. It's honestly super lightweight. It feels the same. This is what it looks like, so it's just a straight laptop instead of that wedge design, and personally I haven't noticed any difference. It's still super portable, super lightweight, and I love this just as much as the shape of the MacBook Air. So I get a lot of questions about storage. How much storage should I get? What's too much? What's not enough? Guys, on my 2020 MacBook Air, I spent an extra $200 to get 1 terabyte of storage. Did I need that much storage? No. So when I switched over to the Pro, I only went with 512. I've had this for a week and I still have 343 gigabytes left, so I haven't used that much. The system itself takes up like 34 gigabytes on my laptop, and everything else is like my documents, videos, and all that stuff. It honestly depends on what you're doing with it and your preference, but keep in mind that once you buy it, that's what you have. You cannot upgrade the storage, you cannot upgrade the memory, so whatever you think you need, get that from the get-go because you can't change it once you have it. I also pay $10 a month for 2 terabytes of storage cloud from Google Drive, and so honestly I think that 512 is like the perfect number for me to feel comfortable and not have to worry about going over. And if I ever need to clean up my files, I back everything up to Google Storage so that it's all there. I would recommend paying for cloud storage like from iCloud or Dropbox or Google Drive instead of going up to like 1 or 2 terabytes on your MacBook, because that just seems pretty excessive, and also your MacBook could break down, you could lose it. Anything can happen to those files on your computer. They're not safe, but once you back them up to a cloud, no matter what happens to your MacBook, they're always going to be safe and saved somewhere. And so that's the way that I think about it, and I definitely do feel safer with all of my files in a cloud somewhere than on my MacBook. So on YouTube, I asked for any questions that you guys wanted me to address in this video. Let me just make sure that I covered everything that was asked. Battery life, Final Cut Pro performance, Have you experienced any problems while editing YouTube videos, like freezing, overheating? So I have not had any like overheating issues to the point of my laptop shutting down. There are some times whenever I'm sitting in my bed with my laptop on my lap in blankets while I'm editing, and I notice that it does get pretty hot. So whenever that happens, I usually will kind of just take a break and stop and just kind of sit with my laptop like this so that the bottom can kind of like get some air and stuff like that. It's not recommended to use your laptop on surfaces like your bed or your blankets because it's blocking some of that heat from getting out. So those are the only times that I've really experienced that, but I have not experienced anything like my MacBook Air. I've only heard the fans get pretty loud once during like exporting and stuff. But other than that, I've had no issues with freezing, overheating, any of that stuff. One time while I was editing on Final Cut Pro, it randomly shut down. Wasn't that big of a deal, I just instantly pulled it back up, but overall my editing experience has been so much better than before. Do you play Sims on it? And I think I got one more about gaming. I'm gonna just keep it real with you guys. I don't game. In my MacBook Air video, I mentioned that I tried playing Sims and everybody came for me in the comments saying how it wasn't for editing. I literally bought Sims and played it like 2 times because I was bored. I really don't game ever, so I can't really speak on that experience, but I would say that the MacBook Pro would probably be better than using an Air. But if you're really into gaming, I would recommend just getting a gaming computer or something that is more catered towards that specific need. Is the price justified? So obviously MacBooks are very, very expensive. The model I got is normally $17.99 US, but there was a promo at Best Buy. I only paid $15.99. After taxes, it was about $17.31. I'm not going to buy another laptop for years. I'm going to use this for regular daily use, for work, as a teacher, for my YouTube channel, for everything. So I definitely do think that my investment was worth it. Guys, don't try to cheap out because you'll end up like me and buy a MacBook Air knowing that it wasn't the right fit for me. For some of you, the MacBook Air might be the right one depending on what you're using it for. For me, I know that I only wanted to get the Air because it was cheaper than the Pro, but in the end, you have to really look at what you're trying to use it for, and I would say don't cheap out. Of course, you have to save up your money and have the means to buy it, but definitely do invest in yourself because you will see that pay off. So the final question is, how is my experience on this versus the Air? Like I've said like 10 times in this video, I love this MacBook Pro so much for myself. For you guys, if you're not going to be doing things like editing videos or photos or lots of like programming and all that stuff, definitely get the Air. The Air is an amazing laptop. I had it for 5 years. It got me through college. After college, I was a reporter, so I did a lot of typing and things on Chrome and stuff like that. So for me, the Pro is the perfect laptop for having a YouTube channel. But all in all, just look at what you're trying to use it for and do your own research. So that is my experience with the MacBook Pro. If there's anything else you have about the Pro or my experience, comment down below. I reply to every single comment. Thank you guys for watching. If you are not subscribed, I would love it if you subscribe down below for new uploads every Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I will catch you in my next video. Bye guys.